we surprisingly, I think it was surprise. I think we were more surprised he actually dropped the album, him being Playboi Carti. The album dropped Music. I guess the cover says I Am Music, but I think the official title is Music. The album dropped, dude, like around like 12:30 p.m. Eastern on a Friday. But again, I think that's becoming more normal with like Kendrick dropping it whenever he wanted it on Friday for GNX, and I think Tyler also did something similar on a Tuesday. So whatever the case may be, the hype was there. People responded in a big way. I think as of right now, Friday was the biggest stream day for any artist in 2025 on Spotify, and Playboy got that acknowledgement. So before I go into my thoughts, what were your thoughts on the album itself, removing any of the hype or marketing behind it?
Yeah. Um, Man, I have a lot to say about Cardi just because I feel like he's so polarizing, which is odd because he doesn't really say or do much. He just kind of pops up here and there and somehow has this like mysterious aura that people are obsessed with. But as someone who's not a hardcore Cardi fan, but loves, bits and pieces of his appearances here and there, I had very low expectations.
Mhm.
Not to say that, his fan base wouldn't be happy with it or that he's bad. It's just that I'm not a diehard fan. So what am I really going to expect? But um, I would say overall, I thought the production was very good and like expensive sounding. To
Mhm.
be honest, I think generally for me, like his production carries most of his music. And it's every time I listen to it, I'm like, this would be dope live, the energy from him and the crowd. But personally, I just don't think there's a whole lot of environments where this music makes a whole lot of sense to me. And lyrically, I'm not even someone who's like a backpacker. Like I need conscious raps that are,
Yeah.
vowing to change the world and shit. But sometimes I would like to even understand what the fuck the language is. And half
Yeah.
the time it's like that, like baby voice, like repeated over and over. And I'm just asking myself, okay, what really is going on here? Or should I just shut up and listen and like, just appreciate it for what it is? But I would say at the end of the day, listening to the album, I'm definitely not the target audience. I think if you're a Cardi fan, you're probably very happy with this, especially with how many
Yeah, I think
songs
if
there
you're a
are.
Cardi, not to jump in, but I think if you're a
Yeah.
Cardi fan, you're very happy with this.
Yeah, absolutely. And not the fan of a 30 song cut or however many were on this, but as someone who's not a target audience, I guess it kind of is helpful because I'm going to walk away with something if you're putting out that much music. Uh, and then two final things. One, I do appreciate this trend of not putting the features in the song title, at least initially, because
For
I
the
have a tendency
suspense?
to skip ahead. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I knew Kendrick was going to be on it, and I knew I wouldn't have the discipline to sit through like 5 songs I didn't like just to get to Kendrick or whatever. So it forced me to listen to the whole thing throughout. And then second, um, I think the features were kind of underwhelming. I mean, even Kendrick's to a degree.
This guy's
I
stealing
think
all my takes.
Kendrick, Kendrick still did a great job, but like I think that it's just Cardi's not meant for like standout performances from many people, or maybe like I don't really know what to say about the features, but to me, like I didn't walk away feeling like anyone who was featured like did the most mind-blowing thing. Kendrick would be at the top of the list if I had to say someone, but again, the bar was so low. It's like no one else was even rapping. So like anything Kendrick says is gonna, stand out. But yeah, walked away. It was cool. I don't know if like a 5-year wait, if that was necessarily worth it in this instance. But at the end of the day, I think considering the broader landscape of hip hop, like it's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So what just before I give in echo some of those things you said, because I think we're gonna have a couple similar takes. I'll try to put some nuance on it while I think about it. But what was the setting that you actually were able to like dive into the entire body of work?
So I listened to the album just all of Friday. Mostly, I would say a combination of in the car and at home.
Okay. Okay. So at home you were able to like truly get those fucking like bass going loud and like try to
Yeah.
like recreate whatever like euphoric stadium rolling loud atmosphere that I think he was kind of shooting for.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, as much as I could, like on a Friday when, it's still sunny out and I'm just
Yeah.
in a peaceful suburban neighborhood. But yeah, yeah, I tried to.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I I was in Dallas. I was listening to it in the car, dropping off the rental, and I was like, "Man, this Chevy Trax is not doing it for me right now, bro. Like, I don't like this is like not loud enough." And I'm like, "But the beat sounds loud enough." But then, like, is it his mic that's too low? Like, what's going on here? So I'm like, let me not even judge it off this. So then today, bro, this morning on a Monday morning on the 17th, I my boy and I, Sam, who you know, we have a private gym we go to. So when we go, we have the entire gym to ourselves for like an hour and a half, and like we have access to like this big ass speaker. So I threw it on there, and I'm like, bro, like if this hype doesn't get me going, I'm like, it's not for me. And bro, like we had it blasting, and I was still like, bro, like how is this loud but also low at the same time? And like that's like I just felt very confused throughout the entire listening of this album, man. And I want to echo something you said, like the features. Bro, like I think we've complained about this before when it's like Little Baby, Little Jerk, Future, Young Thug, Travis, Playboy, like bro, like these guys are on Young Thug. They're all on each other's music all the time. Like it's not even special, bro. Like if I get a Playboy Future, if I get a Future song that has a Playboy feature, and then you just do the reverse on your album, it's like, bro, like was this needed? Right? Like I appreciate
Right.
there was I think one of the albums either on 21 Savage All American Dream. Like I appreciate he didn't have fucking more Drake features. Like bro, we heard everything you two could say together. We don't need any
Yeah.
more. And I felt that way with like the Future and like Travis Scott. Like dude, the Travis Scott ones, I actually think those songs were fine. But bro, his ad libs are so tired to me and like so repetitive that I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, is are you even with him in the booth, or is this just like a fucking button that you have to push? Because I'm like, bro, this is so like unimaginative, like unimaginative in any capacity. But the production still felt very good, right? Like it
Mhm.
remind you said expensive. That's funny you said that because I smiled because it reminded me of the Weeknd's album, where like, and I think they have like, I think they're all like signed to some kind of, or they're all aligned in some way. Um,
Yeah.
but it felt very rich, right? Like even if it was just like gunshots over a trap, whatever. But even that sounded like the best, most expensive version of that you could ever ask for. But I mean, again, besides a couple like songs where he's kind of like whispering and it kind of, I think Crush is a good example of that. I mean, I'll share that's like my favorite song off the album where it's like he's like whispering and you think there's gonna be a build up and you're like, all right, like well, this is gonna be it. But for the most part, bro, I feel like he's not loud enough for how braggadocious those production things are that he
Yeah.
gets lost in these songs. And then if you have other rappers on the songs with you who are clearly better rappers than you get even lost more. Like, bro, like I'm not even gonna go down the road on this particular topic right now of like how Kendrick should or shouldn't be on the album. Like, bro, who gives a fuck? But bro, if you're gonna have that guy who's like the elites of elite rappers, you can't. Yeah, man. Like it just didn't make sense. Like it just didn't. A lot of it just didn't make sense to me. But I put my hands up, and I think different to Larry June because again, Larry June's of a certain age. Like, bro, this music is 1000% not for us, right? Like, I saw the people reactions to Rolling Loud. I know people are losing their minds online immediately saying this is a classic, blah blah blah. But I don't know, man. For like, if you're like 32 plus, I failed to comprehend how this makes sense for you, which is why like the idea of like Future and The Weeknd and Kendrick and I'm like, bro, like, are you guys just trying to be a part of the hype right now, or you genuinely believe in this type of sound? So, yeah, I think I left the album just being confused as to like what am I meant to be listening, but clarity of like, all right, I've never listened to an hour and a half worth of Cardi music twice, so like I left with clarity, like, bro, this is definitely just not for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a difficult time kinda understanding what the point of it is, and, again, it doesn't have to be some grandiose, like, life-changing, self-reflective, theme, but at the same time, I don't even know what the, like, surface level, uh, more empty, stereotypical hip hop theme of it was. Like, fuck bitches get money could have been the theme, and I still have no idea if that was like the intent. Like, I just don't understand what each song's purpose was and where it was going. To your point, a lot of it was repetitive and it felt like a hook for 2 minutes. And
Yeah.
I that might be cool if you really like the beat and the hook, but I just had a difficult time following, and it sounded great, but I still don't understand where Cardi's input kind of falls into all of it. Like, what makes him the standout versus all the production and like guest appearances.
Right, right, right. Because I get the whole thing. This is like rage rap, like whatever that genre is, and I guess and get that he's the face of that. But like in any kind of genre, dude, what are you saying, bro? Like you just saying us just saying it's rage rap. Like what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like oh, it's you can only play this at a like in a mosh pit type atmosphere. But like what triggers like what is being said to trigger the mosh pit? You know, like what is he saying that you're just like oh this is the guy? Like because we I don't think he's making these fucking beats, right? So you can't be in love with him for that. Like yeah, I just left confused, bro. Like confused. I guess like it's also more confusing because like our first again, people are going to evolve, especially when you are 22 or 23. When we first saw my Rolling Loud to 28 years old now, but like the fact that like, Magnolia and like Woke Up Like This were like his coming out songs, and again, this is not new information, but like this aggressive shift is also like confusing. You know, like I could kind of get that more because that felt like more New York City, Atlanta, like rap that like felt like good for the soul. Like this is just like weird, bro. And I'm not even going down the satanic nonsense or people saying that he's talking about sacrifice. I'm not even talking about that. This just like feels like as a grown man, very odd to be like, yeah, put that back on for me. Like that, that's like where I was struggling, bro. I was actually concerned, like if other guests walked into the gym, like, should I change this? Like, should I, like, is this like too specific for like the masses to like, enjoy? So yeah, man, I just left the listening just very confused
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
eager
I
to
did.
change it. By the way, like very eager to like, I don't want to listen to this anymore. Like,
Gotcha. No, it did feel like a chore for me as well at certain points. And I consider myself someone like, even at my age, I feel like there's a lot of quote unquote music for like younger audiences that older people might say they don't really understand or get. But I think with this, like, I legitimately don't know what he's saying or what I'm supposed to be repeating. So I think it makes it hard for it to land because it's like, with someone like, I don't know, Gunna or something like fuck you mean and all that stuff, like no one would argue that that music is meaningful, but at least you know what like it's meant for and what life he's portraying in those 3 minutes. But this is just like literal gibberish half the time. And even if it's not, like I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. So
yeah,
it, like I know it's still difficult to make, like, regardless of if it's meaningful or not, it's difficult to make music that is catchy and attracts an audience. But I think for me in particular, like this Cardi stuff is tough. And I love the song Timeless with Weekend, but part of it's I actually know what he's saying. So
yeah, but part of it's also well, all he's saying is the same repetitive things for like 20 seconds.
mhm.
So like I think when it's like those small bites of him as the feature or like an extensive hook, I think it's easier to resonate with that as opposed to, hey, let me give you like I'm the main star here, and then other people are gonna feature. Like I feel like him as the lead guy, bro, is very challenging. I think for the
Yeah.
average hip hop, I would assume for the average hip hop consumer.
It's almost like people like ironically like fuck with the sounds. It's like, oh, let's see how weird he can get. And
Bro, I was gonna
like
ask you that because I was more curious to ask you about like the fact that he even labeled the album "I Am Music," and like again, it feels like a lot of people
like
online are,
trolling.
yeah, like bro, like but like, is it trolling or do people genuinely believe this? right?
I
Like, do
think it's
people think
yeah.
this is like the next sound?
I think there's a good portion of people who genuinely believe it. You know, it's like one of those things you manifest it, like you say it enough times to yourself or joke about it enough and it becomes reality. And I think a good portion of his fans legitimately think he's like the messiah of music. And they don't even consider it rap because he's a fucking like vampire rock star or whatever he is. So he can't even be boxed in. Like, I don't think fans are boxing him into rap. They're like, oh, he's a aura or a movement or whatever other buzzword you want to use.